It's not everyone's cup of tea to consume an entire podcast. That's why, welcome to the Ranveer Show's highlights channel, TRS Clips. Subscribe and hit that bell icon. Who it's Nawal Ravikant said this, that all of us throughout our lives just need to create games for ourselves and keep ourselves entertained through those games. So content creation as a job, it pays well. But I think very early on, I realized that you cannot use money as a driving force. And you have to use probably two things. And this is maybe the spiritual stuff talking. One is creativity. Again, you have to put the creativity into something constantly. Otherwise, you'll go crazy. And I remember in school and college, I was an aggressive person. Physical fights, verbal fights, emotional fights with myself. Now, when I look back, I realize that was just the creativity going crazy inside me because I didn't have an avenue to express it. And this is like right after first grade, right? Where I used to get so frustrated with the education I was getting because it was confined to boxes. Like in every class in the first grade, I would take a blank paper, I'd carry it from my home and draw out robots that I would design. This is how a robot would look. I drew out 6 robots. So I draw out weapons. Like it was an aggressive childhood just because of creativity being blocked.
Stifled.
Once YouTube started, I felt like I was a bird where the cage had just opened up and I was flying in the open world. And I was getting to express my creativity in the form of a career. The higher form of that, again, once spirituality came in my life, I realized, okay, God's given you this gift of creativity. What are you going to do with it? Content creation pays well. It probably pay my team well in the long term as well. Content creation careers are nice, even if in the long term you can sustain yourself. But it's not just about taking care of your own team. If you've been given a gift which is constantly growing, like our numbers are constantly rising since 6 years, what more can you do with it? Can you create an impact in people's mental health? Can you create an impact in the way people look at the world? Can you create a mass number of jobs? Your team will be taken care of, but aim for that higher goal of like, I want to change the country. I want to help the villages of this country be self-sufficient. Can you do that? And that's where I really started finding joy. And also, there was this point in my early career where I had a choice between going into films as an actor or doing business. And I chose business because of my circumstances that time, the person I was with, the influences around me, the things I was reading. Business seemed fun. And I'm glad I did that. Not just because it uses my natural ability, but because I feel when you're just acting, it's a good profession and it has the potential to create impact through stories and through fiction. Like when I look at some inspirational influences in my life, I think of Laksh and Akshay Kumar and these people who have set certain thought patterns in my life. So it has its own purpose. But I feel with business, you're not just living your own life. You're living the life of all your team members. You're living the life of all the people that your business influences. So if your business does some good shit in the world, be it renewable energy, be it creating jobs, be it making the world a better place, making the world a more positive place, it's a better form of existence. And maybe these are artificial concepts that I've created around me, but these concepts are giving me peace at this stage and it's keeping my sanity in check. Because I have felt my mind go to moments of insanity, which express itself through addiction. I had like huge addiction problems in the past, was way more into cannabis than you can imagine, like just heavily into it. And I felt like I was into that because again, that used to keep me sane. Now it's like the meditation, again, which I'm aggressively into. And I'm probably just into it because I feel like that's why I've gravitated towards the meditation as well. It's settled the losing my mind kind of vibe. Can't explain it in any other reason. I've started reading the Gita recently, again, because it's such a heavy piece of text that the heaviness of it just anchors you. It gives you thought fodder, which also made me think of spiritualism or, spiritual thought in general. Maybe that's the purpose of spiritual thought and spiritualism being a part of the human experience. That human beings are meant to go crazy and you're meant to like ground yourself through jobs, through activities, through purposes, through thought fodder. Otherwise, in your natural state, you're meant to go crazy. And maybe it's just a theory. Maybe the world of scientists, because they're supposed to look at the world or whatever's around us in its most natural, real state, they're supposed to keep unearthing the realities of it. They make their whole life about the natural core, and that's why they lose themselves. Maybe.
I think it works. Maybe this issue afflicts people who have intense pursuits or intense mindsets, people who think deeply or people who pursue things deeply. I'm sure every mind has a certain threshold beyond which, if you push it, you may enter the realm of insanity, like you said. So, yes, we need to all find whatever works best for us. Meditation works, I think, for everybody, but there are different forms of meditation. There is Vipassana, there is a Hatha Yoga, and there is much more. So everybody needs to find what grounds them and gives them a purpose that connects them to something larger than them. Maybe it ties you back to those who came before you, or maybe you're working for the future inhabitants of the planet. Find some bigger purpose and work towards it. I am sure everybody can do that. Not just scientists or artists or creators, but I am sure everybody can find that in some way. And that is what I think. These days we hear about this problem of mental health a lot. I think the pandemic has created this issue to a great deal because people are confined and they're disrupted out of their normal routines and all that. And maybe it's left certain people feeling aimless or unable to fulfill whatever purpose they thought they had. So I think we need to have some fallback mechanism, some fail-safe, something that we can rely on in any moment of stress. I think these techniques are taught to soldiers also, that when you are in a certain conflict area and you need to sleep after a few hours, find a way of calming yourself down, even if bullets are flying overhead. I think there's a lot that connects all of these things together. It's about finding what works best for you. I'm sure everybody at some point in their life can fall into the void
of insanity.
Of insanity, at least to some extent. You might dip your toes into that. And I'm sure it's not a good experience.